Welcome back to the Centered in the City podcast. My name is Wade Brill and I am your host. Today I am doing another solo episode because they've just been so fun and I feel like my heart has just been in so much deep emotional processing for the last few months that I'm in this space to just really share and connect with you all. So thank you for being here. Today's episode is inspired by the recent Jewish holiday, Yom Kippur. For those who are not aware, this holiday is all about atonement and asking for God's forgiveness. Personally, I am not a religious Jewish person. I consider myself culturally Jewish. And as I thought about how I wanted to celebrate this holiday season, we had New Year's of Rosh Hashanah a few weeks ago. I really thought about how powerful the act of forgiveness is and how important it is to do this forgiveness practice, not just once a year on a holiday like Yom Kippur, but on a regular basis. And to be honest, sometimes I'm like, I don't know what I need to forgive myself for. Or I don't know what I need to forgive others for. Like, shit just happens in life and we roll with it and we go. But when we actually slow down, when I slow down and I get really clear with myself, sometimes I recognize how much residue from life and from life feeling lifey there is in my heart, mind, and my body. And so practicing forgiveness is such a powerful way for us to release resentment, hurt, all of the gunk, the stickiness, abandonment, betrayal, shame that can build up in our life. So today I'm going to share with you a really powerful forgiveness practice. So let's settle in and let's get centered. First, I want to share with you what's happening with Centered in the City behind the scenes if you are not already a member. When you sign up at centeredinthecity.com, you get access to over 200, close to maybe 300 now, I haven't counted recently, mindfulness-based practices. Things like meditation, mindful movement, journaling practice, and mindful eating recipes, all to inspire us to take these mindful moments to pause, to connect to self, to create that space for clarity, connection, so that we can integrate that into our world, so we can feel our most powerful, authentic selves. This month, we are exploring the powerful theme of letting go, inspired by the trees and the leaves that's going to be happening here in the Northern Hemisphere as fall starts to roll in. And a huge piece of letting go and creating more space in our life for what comes next is about forgiveness. I'm sharing with you a really powerful practice here on the podcast, and also within the platform, there is a powerful meditation around self-forgiveness specifically, and we will have some other powerful holistic practices around letting go and creating that space in our physical body, in our emotional bodies, and our mental bodies. So if you are interested in joining us, I welcome you to sign up at centeredinthecity.com. Use your free 7-day trial. Check it out, explore it, reach out if you have questions, and I can't wait to see you in the community. I first learned this forgiveness practice that I'm about to share with you, I want to say maybe 5 or so years ago, when I went on my first silent meditation retreat. And whoa, was it powerful. My heart just exploded and expanded. A few of my other silent retreats have also had this practice involved in it, as well as I incorporated this practice in the intention setting workshop that I do every year, because I think it's really powerful before we set our intentions, just like we celebrated the Jewish New Year a few weeks ago. and are offering this forgiveness practice to ourselves in the new year, calendar new year, when setting intentions, it can be really powerful to do this forgiveness practice so that we're clearing out some of that clutter, that gunk that holds us back, that weighs us down, that spins and ruminates in our mind, that traps us and imprisons us with shame. Ugh, just this is such a gift to offer forgiveness. Now, what do I mean by the word or even the practice of forgiveness? Because I think this can mean different things to different people depending on how you were raised, what religion you grew up in, how this word of forgiveness was used in your household. So I just even want to call that out. The way that I am working with forgiveness and defining forgiveness is this ability to let these heavy emotions like resentment and anger and hurt to release the grip of control that it can have. And sometimes forgiveness can feel really challenging to even just like connect to or have a relationship with. Like I know years ago, I kind of felt like forgiveness meant I had to forget. You know, if I forgave somebody for doing something or I forgave myself, meaning I had to forget or pretend everything was happy-go-lucky or that the boundary, that there doesn't need to be a boundary, right? Because I forgive this person, so they're back into my space. But that's not it at all. Meaning we can forgive ourselves, we can forgive others, and we can have boundaries, and we don't need to be best friends with them, and we can still not like a person or have a hard time with somebody or not want to be friends with somebody. Or sometimes we end up forgiving ourselves for something, but we aren't even able to communicate that forgiveness or that sense of ownership to somebody else because maybe they're deceased or maybe you've lost complete contact with them, whatever it might be. The practice of forgiveness is what helps us release the grips of control that event or experience or those heavy emotions might have on us. And it creates a sense of freedom, some space, some opportunity to move forward, not be held back by so much weight, so much guilt, so much anger or hurt. And there's research out there that demonstrates the power of forgiveness. Johns Hopkins Medicine demonstrates that there's studies that show that forgiveness helps people lower their blood pressure, which reduces risk of heart attack and improves cholesterol levels, sleep, reducing pain, blood pressure, levels of anxiety, stress, and depression. And those studies make sense to me because when we are in anger or frustration or hurt or still holding grudges towards people, our bodies are in an elevated fight-flight state, right? Which not only creates more stress hormones in our body, but it also weakens our immune system because our body's so activated trying to protect itself that it's not really creating protection for itself in the long run. So our immune system gets really worn out. So even here, I just welcome you to pause and just notice your relationship to forgiveness. Maybe you already have a practice and a ritual around forgiveness. This is something you incorporate into your life pretty regularly. And if so, I'd love to hear about it. Feel free to share with me, leaving a voice note on centerinthecity.com. Maybe you're somebody who knows the word forgiveness and was taught in school to say, I'm sorry, and, to follow those pleasantries of exchange in our human culture. But maybe you've never really sat with this word forgiveness to really understand how you're practicing it or embodying it. For me personally, I noticed for many years how much just grief was in my body. It makes sense. I'm still mourning my mother's passing 13 years later, still mourning my own cancer journey 13 years later. And I also recognize how forgiveness has played a huge role in softening and connecting to more tenderness internally. And so it's made me realize it's not just grief work I get to continue to do, but forgiveness work. And believe me, there are plenty other places in my life where forgiving myself and forgiving others is still a practice. This act of forgiveness is not fucking easy. It is and can be challenging. And so I just want to name that this is not something that is necessarily pleasant, but when I have practiced it, it's it feels so good after the fact to just call out some of those things that need to be called out, to open those closet doors that we have stuffed things in for months, years, weeks, and to open it, to let it breathe, let it have light, declutter it. And it's yes. Sometimes this theme of forgiveness shows up in coaching with my clients where they might not be able to deepen a romantic partnership because of a lot of fear that's been there around betrayal or hurt. And the practice of forgiveness is really necessary to uncover that block so that they can create more intimacy, create more trust with self and with their partner. So this is powerful shit, people. I'm going to read, and I will link in the show notes where I'm reading from. This meditation is from Jack Kornfield. So if you are listening to this podcast out and about and it's maybe not the right space or wise space to be meditating and doing this deeper emotional work, then I welcome you to pause me and come back to me later. And if you are ready to settle into a meditation practice, I welcome you to find a comfortable posture for yourself. Maybe that's being cozy on the couch or sitting in your favorite chair. As you settle in, maybe closing the eyes if you feel comfortable, or softening the gaze. And connecting to your breath by breathing in and out through the heart. Awakening this tender space, maybe this space that has felt armored or protected. Maybe even just notice what emotions start to arise for you as we explore this topic of forgiveness. And allow whatever's occurring just to be here. As I read through this meditation, feel free to repeat these words to yourself internally, or maybe a gentle whisper, allowing any thoughts, emotions, visuals, sensations, welcoming them all. And we'll gently turn our attention to this idea of forgiving others and repeating these words. There are many ways that I have hurt and harmed others, have betrayed or abandoned them, caused them suffering, knowingly or unknowingly, doing this out of pain, fear, anger, and confusion. Ah, let yourself remember and visualize the ways you have hurt others. See and feel the pain you have caused out of your own fear and confusion. Feel your own sorrow and regret. Sense that finally you can release this burden and ask for forgiveness. Picture each memory that still burdens your heart. And then to each person in your mind, repeat, I ask for your forgiveness. I ask for your forgiveness. Gently notice what's arising for you and just being with it with tenderness, with curiosity. Bringing your attention towards forgiving yourself in this moment and repeating these words. There are many ways that I have hurt and harmed myself. I have betrayed or abandoned myself many times through thoughts, words, or deed, knowingly or unknowingly. Feel your own precious body and life. Let yourself see the ways you have hurt or harmed yourself. Picture them. Remember them. Feel the sorrow you have carried from this and sense that you can release these burdens. Extend forgiveness for each of them, one by one, and gently repeat to yourself, for the ways I have hurt myself through thoughts, action, or inaction, out of fear, pain, confusion. I now extend a full and heartfelt forgiveness. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. Gently turning your attention towards forgiving those who have hurt or harmed you. There are many ways that I have been harmed by others, abused or abandoned, knowingly or unknowingly, in thought, word, or deed. Let yourself picture and remember these many ways. Feel the sorrow you've carried from this past and sense that you can release this burden of pain by extending forgiveness when your heart is ready. Now gently saying to yourself, I now remember the many ways others have hurt or harmed me, wounded me out of fear, pain, confusion, and anger. I have carried this pain in my heart too long, to the extent that I am ready. I offer them forgiveness. To those who have caused me harm, I offer my forgiveness. I forgive you. Being really gentle and kind to yourself, knowing that forgiveness is not to be rushed, that it takes time to gently unwind, can't be forced. But maybe just notice what has shifted. Maybe the heart has opened just a little. Maybe the body feels even just 1% lighter. And if nothing, that's okay too. And so feel free to repeat these words and intention of forgiveness to self, to others, for others. As much as you may need. And if you're feeling complete from this meditation practice, from this therapeutic guided exploration, I welcome you to feel a sense of ground beneath you. Just feel yourself being held in this moment. And whenever you feel complete, no rush at all, gently opening your eyes and transitioning to this new moment together. And as you transition, I welcome you to even grab a journal or maybe the notes section in your phone and just jot down some of your thoughts and experiences, maybe images around this practice of forgiveness. May you set yourself free. May we continue to practice forgiveness, not only for our own health and benefit, but for the health and benefit of our relationships, the planet. And may we keep exploring what it is to practice forgiveness so that we can create more space in our life. So we can let the heart really shine. And live in alignment with what we say really matters. And may you know you are not alone on this journey. I am right there with you practicing forgiveness, clearing my own personal and interpersonal clutter, and it is a journey. May you be tender and walk this journey with lots of care. Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Center in the City podcast. I hope your heart, mind, and body feel super nourished and cared for. Please take a moment to rate and review this podcast. Share it with somebody in your community who might benefit from some extra love and forgiveness. And may we support all of each other, just living life from our authentic centers. Until next time, stay centered.